Today, from Denver Mile High Stadium, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the Denver Broncos. Brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Mazda Cars and Trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value. And by Hewlett-Packard. The people who turn your business computing problem into a business computing solution.
Last year, mid-season, Seattle and Denver in a battle for first place. Overtime, Rich Karlis a field goal away from a Denver victory. He barely skidded it off the upright to the left. Denver wins 13-10. Today, mid-season 86, and it's a beautiful autumn afternoon at the foot of the Rockies. They meet again, first place at stake in the AFC West. Mile High Stadium painted today in sellout orange, 76,000 strong to see action in the highly competitive AFC West. A Seattle win ties it up. The Raiders and Chiefs are winning at the moment. If they're successful, the Western race remains tied again. The Broncos have won the toss and will receive. Chuck Knox has not beaten Denver the last 3 chances, losing both by field goals last year.
He's done a good job of getting his team ready week in and week out. A big win last week over the Giants. But Dick, they're ready to kick it off.
Denver trying to recover from a pasting at the hands of the New York Jets last Monday night. Their first loss of the year. Seattle's 2 defeats by 4 and 5 points. Norm Johnson roots it high and long and out of the end zone.
That was a field goal. He put it between the uprights.
65 yards plus, and John Elway, who was knocked out accidentally in the Jets game, kicked in the head by his teammate Wilhite, had some amnesia, but he's in the starting lineup. Sammy Winder, his top running back, 12th best rusher in the NFL. Gerald Wilhite, Clint Sampson, and Steve Watson, the wideouts, and Clarence Kay, a fine blocking tight end behind this line of Studdard, Bishop, Bryan, Howard, and Lanier. Winder for 12 yards and a first down. Greg Gaines made the tackle. And here is that Seahawk defense. Seattle with Jacob Green celebrating a 4-sack game against the Giants last week. Joe Nash on the nose, and Jeff Bryant the other defensive end. Schultz, Young, Butler, and Gaines the linebackers. Young leads the team in tackles. Terry Taylor, Dave Brown at the corners. Kenny Easley, after arthroscopic surgery just 13 days ago, back in the starting lineup at safety along with Eugene Robinson. Steve Sewell. And another handsome gain for Denver out to the 39, where it'll be 2nd and 3.
Dick, this is something that they really had difficulty doing last week against the Jets, is running on first down. And when they can run on first down, they certainly have all the advantages going their way.
Well, they certainly had a rough first 30 minutes against the Jets. Only 24 total yards. Had the ball only 8.5 minutes as the Jets dominated 22-0. They've already done better than that in the first 2 plays. From the 39, that's Steve Watson in motion. Elway's first pass has a man open, Sewell, and a first down at the 42 of Seattle. 12 yards, 7 yards, now 20 yards.
John Elway creates unusual problems for a defense because he throws the ball so effectively. But you not only have to worry about him throwing the ball, but you have to try and contain him at the same time. He's always dangerous no matter where he is or what he's doing on the field.
Officially 21 yards on the catch by Sewell. First down just outside the Seattle 40-yard line. We'd like to welcome those viewers that have been enjoying the Miami-Indianapolis game. And this is Denver's Sammy Winder all the way to the Seattle 15-yard line. 24 yards on the play. Denver has taken the opening kickoff from their 20, and they have marched, eating huge chunks of yardage on each play, all the way to the Seattle 15.
Looking at it from behind, Winder gets a good block inside from Keith Bishop, runs out of a tackle right there, a second tackle right there, and is finally pulled down from behind. Let's see how they got Jacob Green on that play. You see him trapped as he comes around from the backside. He could not make the play as he ran around the blocks, tried to come in from the backside.
Winder again, and for the first time the Seattle defense is able to deny. It was Bruce Schultz, number 58, the linebacker from Texas, making the hit. Those numbers, 401 yards, putting Winder in the top 12 in the NFL.
Really a totally different start for Denver. Last week it was the Jets making the long drives. A drive of 12 plays, 5 minutes 57 seconds, 10 plays, long over 5 minutes, 14 plays, 8 minutes and 6 seconds. The Jets dominated the game with long drives. Here it's Denver, first drive, a long one.
Second and 9 for Elway, and he threw that one away, and a flag goes down, and I believe they're going to call either holding or interference against Eugene Robinson, who was on Clarence K. And while they resolve that matter, let's go to NFL 86.
All right, Dick, in Indianapolis, Colt quarterback Jack Trudeau makes this desperation pass to number 86, Walter Murray. He catches it, but is ruled out of bounds. The Dolphins hold on to win it, 17-13.
Illegal contact was the penalty call against Eugene Robinson, and a 5-yard penalty, an automatic first down, so it'll be first and goal for the Denver Broncos just inside the Seattle 10-yard line. So Elway has the full 10-yard distance to go.
Robinson saying that Clarence K had pushed him in the face mask, grabbed his face mask. The officials would not listen, and the Broncos have an opportunity to score here early.
Winder has almost 7 yards on that first down carry. Nash and Gaines teaming up on the tackle.
We got a Bronco injured on the play. One of the Bronco linemen is down, and it looks like Keith Bishop. Watch the play as it develops here. They got a good block on the outside on Greg Gaines, and Joe Nash just knocked over backwards by big Paul Howard from his guard position. Keith Bishop playing already with a split voice box. Looks like he is favoring that left leg, a knee or an ankle possibly, but Steve Antonopoulos, the trainer, the shiny-headed one there, is helping him off the field. But the Broncos, already thin on the offensive line, can't really afford to lose that man because he's their deep snapper on punts. And with a punter just back for the second week and already experiencing problems, you don't want to lose your deep snapper.
We'll keep an eye on Bishop's condition. Dan Remsburg, a rookie, has replaced him. Second and goal. Inside handoff to Wilhite, and read well by the Seahawk defense. Little or no gain for Wilhite on his first call of the game.
They're bringing Steve Sewell. You saw him catch a pass earlier. He comes in motion across, and now he's going to trap back into the line. Almost a pulling guard there. Dives in and tries to get Jeff Bryant. But Bryant saw it coming and buried his shoulder in there and almost cross-bodied the runner down, Wilhite.
Unusual formation down on the goal line. 4 wide receivers. Elway in the shotgun. Third and goal. Watson in motion. Flag down. Elway. Touchdown. Mark Jackson. But will it count? They may have a hold. They do. Against Denver. No score.
Well, Dan Remsburg had a hammerlock on Jeff Bryant on that play, and it's a shame because Elway, again, with that great mobility, able to swing it back, find some extra time, and then put a lot of touch on that ball. We know him as a gunner, throws the ball very hard, just lofted that one beautifully.
Holding, number 74 offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat third down.
We understand the injury to Bishop is a knee. We do not know how serious. Remsburg, his replacement, number 74, with a penalty.
Left side of your screen coming in now. You see right there Jeff Bryant, and Remsburg just hanging on, trying to keep him away from the quarterback, but the flag came in right at the end of the play there.
And this is one of the fears of every team that plays Elway and the Broncos. His mobility, even with help by the foul. He just gets himself open, ad-libs away to buy time. This is 3rd and goal. Elway out of bounds at the 5. Eugene Robinson detoured him, and it'll be 4th and goal, and here comes the field goal team.
You asked Chuck Knox about John Elway, and he said the thing that frightens him most about Elway is Elway's ability to make the big play out of a bad play, to make it when there is nothing happening. He can go ahead and use his mobility and his arm strength to create a big play.
Well, you saw Rich Carlos. He won the game here last year in overtime, also won the game in the final minute, 27-24 up in Seattle. This a relatively short 22-yard attempt. Oh, way to snap, and the kick is good. Good job by Gary Kubiak, the holder. Now, we talked about the mobility of Elway, and although they lost 22-10 to the Jets last Monday night, Elway was magnificent in just trying to do something. Here's an example of how he was able to fight off pressure in his own end zone on this occasion. He'll finally be going down sidearms, a completed pass. But that wasn't all. It was almost as if when you chose up sides on the playground, you put the best guy on one side and the other side got 3 extra men. Elway fighting to buy time, but there is a penalty.
You certainly pay the price. When you run, you lose the protection of the quarterback, and you see what happens to Elway. There was a penalty on that play, and he paid an even steeper price here as he was hit in the head by his own running back and knocked unconscious.
When I think about those linemen chasing after an Elway type, I think about you with your tongue all the way down to your number 74 on a Fran Tarkenton, trying to corral him. And the key was you always had to try to keep him in this range, within your grasp.
A scrambling quarterback puts intense pressure on the line, makes you think differently. You think about containment, changes your game, and then runs you absolutely crazy during the game.
Let's check the other scores and some finals. The Cleveland Browns, a very big win in that Cincinnati losing to Pittsburgh today. The Jets only a 5-point lead at home against the Saints. The Bears a struggle but beat the Lions. New England a winner. The Raiders are beating Houston. Carlos to Bobby Joe Edmonds. And the rookie from Arkansas brings it back to the 33-yard line. The Seahawks, who are 5-2, losing only to Washington by 5 and the Raiders by 4. Dave Craig, the quarterback. Kurt Warner, the leading rusher in the AFC, against the toughest team to run against. John L. Williams, the brilliant rookie, Florida. Byron Franklin and Steve Largent on the outside. Mike Tice is the tight end. Mattis Bailey. Hawaii replacing Blair Bush. He's out for the season. Millard and Wilson on the right side of the line. Warner. And the Broncos were expecting that call. Warner nevertheless with a gain of 3 at 2nd and 7. Rulon Jones leads the NFL in sacks with 9. Greg Cragen on the nose, Andre Townsend. The linebackers led by Carl Mecklenburg, a Pro Bowler. Ricky Hundley actually is the top man in tackles, and Tom Jackson, the veteran, 14 years. This is his 183rd game as a Bronco, a record. Wright, Harden, Smith, and Foley, a veteran and talented deep 4. Craig's first pass complete to Largent. He fumbles, and the Broncos had it for a moment, squirted away, and Seattle comes up with a football. We will come back and
Warner
check that
made
fumble.
the recovery.
First, we got to go to New York, Merlin.
All right, Dick and Merlin. In Minneapolis, with 12 seconds left in the game, the Vikings had a chance to send it into overtime, but Chuck Nelson misses the field goal from the 45. Vikings lose 23-20.
And for the Browns, a key win. They go 5-3, and the Vikings record now 5-3. Let's go back to the Steve Largent catch, which gives him 131 in a row.
Typical Largent catch as he concentrates on the ball, but the ball stripped away by Jackson there. A chance right there for the Broncos to recover, but an alert play by Kurt Warner. Watch it right here. As the ball squirts loose and rolls on the ground, you see Jackson stripping it. A chance for Mike Harden to get the ball there. But Warner fell on it, saved it for the Broncos. They got a first down out of it.
Well, that's a big play by Kurt Warner. The turnover table, both coaches talked about that. They're both in the plus column. In fact, Seattle second only to San Francisco in the NFL. Up the middle goes John L. Williams, and the grass and beautiful turf here at Mile High Stadium dotted with yellow flags. The Broncos on a short field goal by Rich Carlos lead the Seattle Seahawks as we welcome those viewers that have been watching the Cleveland-Minnesota game as the Browns a big win in Minnesota. They're checking on the penalty. First down play, John L. Williams carrying for a good game. They're talking to the Seahawks. Gordon McCarter.
Offside, number 77, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down 5.
Carl Mecklenburg, the linebacker who plays in so many positions, completing our other scores. San Francisco in a dogfight at Green Bay, and Miami easing by Indianapolis for their third win of the year. Philadelphia apparently on its way to a victory against the Chargers, and Kansas City has beaten Tampa Bay to stay in the running in this AFC West. We'll take another look at those standings. Quite a dogfight. 4 teams, all close. Warner into Denver territory to the 49, a gain of a couple, and that'll bring up second down and about 2.
One of the things that distinguishes Warner is his amazing ability to cut laterally. Watch him here as he just plants quickly and scoots back inside. What he was able to do was to freeze Rulon Jones, who was playing at the left end, and sneak back inside on that play.
4th best rushing mark in the NFL. Best in the AFC is Warner. He trails Dickerson, Rodgers, and Riggs in the NFL Derby. John L. Williams, second effort, first down to the Bronco 44.
Dick, one of the reasons that this Seattle team is a better team this year is because of number 32, John L. Williams. When you could focus entirely on Kurt Warner and get your whole defensive team aware of him, you could really do a better job of shutting him off. Now they can't do that. Williams can not only run the ball effectively, but he catches it well, and he is a great blocker. You'll see him throw some blocks in there today for Kurt Warner that spring holes and make it possible for him to open it up.
Now Warner's going to be buying him a lot of free dinners before this year's out. Dave Craig down the middle, incomplete to Largent. He was well covered by Mike Harden, number 31.
Just a bad pass by Craig. Threw it in behind Largent. I think if he had put it in front of Largent, it would have been a reception. Largent here just kind of mesmerizing Mike Harden and then breaking across the field. But watch the ball as it goes in behind him, and he reaches back and drops it down.
He had worked his way free. He had a step on Harden. Couple of scores, finals. Pittsburgh surprising Cincinnati 30-9. The favored Bengals had only 3 field goals by Jim Breach in that win at Pittsburgh, and the Jets have beaten New Orleans 28-23 to go 7-1. Mile High Stadium in Denver. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. We welcome those of you who have been watching the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh surprise from Three Rivers Stadium. Here, Rich Carlos capping an opening drive by the hometown Broncos to lead 3-0. The ensuing kickoff, and now Seattle has marched into Denver territory, and with that penalty, we'll have a second down and long. The finals, Cleveland a winner, Pittsburgh an upset winner, the Jets hanging on to go 7-1 as we're now at the halfway mark of this 86 season. The Bears a struggle defense won that one against the Lions. New England apparently on its way to a win, and Miami has defeated Indianapolis. Second down, 15. Craig has a man, Largent, and a first down inside the 25. Flag down. And we may have a hold against the Seahawks. A holding penalty cost Denver a touchdown earlier. They had to settle for the field goal.
Let's take a peek. There's a chance to look at an interesting line stunt by the Broncos on this last play. as we get a chance to look here, watch these two defensive linemen sliding inside, and then Simon Fletcher going all the way around the other side to try and get at Craig. Seahawks do a pretty good job of picking up this particular stunt, but somebody had a hammerlock in there, and the penalty is going to negate a very fine catch by Largent. Look how he gets himself open. Amazing.
Carter's call, Merlin, but it might have been the giant tackle Ron Mattis, number 70, 306-pounder. Dan Reeves, the winningest coach in Bronco history, the youthful ex-Cowboy, has his team at 6-1 and has the Seahawks in trouble, and you can hear the noise, and John L. Williams having trouble with the count. Craig goes for the bomb to Byron Franklin. It's Louis Wright who almost had the interception.
Byron Franklin actually feeling and talking to the official that he was bumped on that play. They still like to challenge Louis Wright. He's a graybeard in terms of longevity as a cornerback, but still able to run. I'll tell you, Franklin said before the game, we don't think Louis runs as well as he used to run. Well, Byron, he ran plenty well enough on that play, and even though there was a little bumping going on, it was Louis Wright there to get his hands on that football and not the intended receiver.
Very near his 26th career interception. Number 1 against the run are the Broncos, allowing less than 70 yards a game.
But 22nd against the pass, Dick.
3rd and 25, and the handoff to Warner. And the Broncos willing to give rushing yardage of that nature. 3rd and 25. Let's go to NFL 86.
All right, Dick, in the Meadowlands, the Saints were driving for the winning score when Dave Wilson hit Eric Martin on this 25-yard pass. He fumbles. Marty Lyons recovers. The Jets hold on to win 28-23. Paul McGuire says they're lucky. I say they're good.
Now, we've got a new system for Paul McGuire, too. A friend of mine who has a baby about 8 months old, he just puts the baby over the sheet each week, and where she drools, those are the picks. And she's way ahead of McGuire. Into the end zone goes the punt by Ben Skamash, and from the 20-yard line, it'll be Denver 3-0. Well, the quarterbacks do pay the price, and here's an indication.
These 7 quarterbacks knocked out of games last week, and as you look down the list, you see 2 red stars. Those 2 quarterbacks, Pelluer and Ryan, were already playing for quarterbacks who'd been injured and knocked out of the game. And here are some other quarterbacks. These are all starting quarterbacks, with the exception of Kemp, who'd gone in after Montana had gone down. You've got to believe, Dick, that the pressure defenses, the 46 style or Chicago style defenses that focus all of that pressure right on those quarterbacks, is generating a lot of quarterback injuries.
Leading 3-0, Elway dumps it off to Vance Johnson. He has world-class speed, and he's out to the 36-yard line before Keith Butler and Terry Taylor can drag him down. Johnson, who re-injured a knee against the Jets on Monday night, had arthroscopic surgery earlier this year.
Broncos very lucky they didn't get an illegal blocking call on their center, Bill Bryant. Watch at the end of this play. Bryant right there pushing on the back of Bruce Schultz, the linebacker. The officials did not call it, however, and Vance Johnson, who's coming back, as you mentioned, off that knee injury, and with that great speed, that's the kind of shot that would scare him to death last week, and he took one. He's able to stand it better now.
Winder to the 40. Well covered by long-armed Bruce Schultz, who reminds some up in Seattle of Ted Hendricks. In fact, has the same nickname, the Stork.
They're still trying to put the heat on big Jacob Green, and Jacob not as big as he was a year ago. That's Ken Lanier, 76, doing a great job of closing him to the inside. And Green is not supposed to be hooked in on that play, and you see him shaking his head. He'll get his share of the plays before the day's over.
Along with 4 sacks for Green in a superb game. That 17-12 win against the Giants last week. 2nd and 6.5 for Elway. Watson. Does it count? No. They say he would not have been able to get both feet in, even though he was knocked out on the tackle by veteran Dave Brown.
Dave Brown, another graveyard. In fact, the oldest of the cornerbacks in the NFL. 2 big interceptions last week against the New York Giants. But watch the toes. 1 foot down. Boy, I tell you, I think maybe he was able to get that other one tapped down, but he didn't control the football. The football is loose, so it may not have been a matter of whether he had his feet in. Football was loose going out of bounds.
You're right, his feet were in. That was a heck of a job to get that second foot down, but he couldn't hang on to the ball. 3rd and 6. Complete and close to a first down, but trying to struggle forward and unsuccessfully so is Mark Jackson, the rookie from Purdue.
Jackson saying, I know I should have been down there a little further. You hate to see a receiver come up short. He knows where you got to go to get that first down. His responsibility is to get far enough down to get into that situation for a first down.
They needed 7 and he got 6 yards, so 4th and 1. And here's Chris Norman, who regained his punting job, and last year against Seattle this was a disastrous moment, blocked by Merriman, and Taylor picked it up and went for a Seahawk touchdown. Gets this one away cleanly. A dying spiral. Bobby Joe Edmonds at the 18.
Fumbled.
And Merriman recovers for Seattle at the 15, and a flag goes down. So Sam Merriman, the man you just saw blocking the punt up in the Kingdome last year for a Seahawk touchdown, is the man on the spot for Seattle to recover Edmonds' mistake.
Edmonds just didn't get that one and put it away properly. It was a bit of a tough catch in that it was coming down at an awkward angle. But watch him as he's never able to really put it away. He gets it in his hands, but right there bobbles it up, and before he can get it down, he's hit by Ricky Hundley, number 98. And Daniel Hunter, 25, had a shot at that football, but Merriman, and that's twice that the Broncos have had shots at the football. They've missed it on both occasions.
And Dan Reeves gets good news from the official. The penalty against Seattle, half the distance to the goal line, so the Seahawks will begin inside their 10. 37-yard punt, -4 return, plus the penalty. 3-0 Denver. And 2 seconds left in the opening quarter. We welcome those of you who've seen New England beat Buffalo. This is Kurt Warner for the Seattle Seahawks, outside for decent yardage to the 14-yard line. The only score, a Rich Karlis 22-yard field goal that capped the opening drive of the game for the Denver Broncos.
A chance to watch Kurt Warner going all the way across now, and watch the lateral pursuit by these linemen as they see Warner going across in front of their faces. Turn it loose now. You see Warner coming across. You see them trying to break out from the inside. Just a wall of red going out to the outside. But Warner, with his great speed, still getting around the corner to pick up some yardage.
Fullback John L. Williams, the rookie, across the 15, but short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and short for Seattle. Carl Mecklenburg, number 77.
Chance to watch him in action. You'll see him in the left-hand side of your picture there. They did a good job of forcing him inside on that play. You mentioned it before, Dick. He will literally play all 7 of those front 7 positions. And the man right there in the middle of your screen, 75, Rulon Jones, will play all 4 of the down positions. So they move both of those men around frequently.
2 Pro Bowl stars.
Mecklenburg over there at the right defensive end position now.
And Rulon Jones on the nose. 3rd and 2. Craig sliding close to a first down. That's going to be very close. It's where the ball is, not where the feet are.
He's short.
Louis Wright says he didn't make it. Now the Seahawks are mad, but when you go down into that slide and end the play, and the play is in, you can't be touched by the defense. It's where the ball is, not where the feet are, and Craig misjudged.
You'll see Craig here as he gets back. He starts to throw the ball, thinks better of it, pulls it down, pulled us a little bit, and then he starts to run. But you're exactly right, Dick. The ball is down. When he sets it down right there, there's no way they pick up the first down.
Ben Skamash, his second kick Headed toward Gerald Wilhite in the shadows at the 37. And down he goes at the Denver 45. So the Broncos in good field position. Paul Moyer made the tackle for Seattle. 47-yard punt to match the number of the man who returned it.
Craig on the sideline, I'm sure, saying maybe I should have dove in there head first rather than going in feet first. I might have been able to make it. Of course, coming off, it's Knox saying, all right, you're right, you should have gone in the other way.
Can't win. If I'd gone in head first and been hurt, you'd have been mad at me then too.
Right.
From the 46-yard line, Denver leading 3-0. A minute 16 seconds left in the opening quarter. Elway looking for something big. Goes to Watson, and that'll be a penalty. Dave Brown. So the veteran Brown, the oldest cornerback active in the NFL, wrestling Watson before the ball arrives.
Watch the arm go around Watson right there. He moves the arm around him and contacts him, pushes him away from the football. No question about it. Brown knew he was beaten, knew that if the ball was perfectly thrown, it was going to be caught, took the chance, made the contact.
It's the longest play of the game, 42 yards on the penalty. No question, Watson denied the chance to go to the ball.
I don't think there's anything that Knox talks more about than not beating yourself. And so far, mistakes, penalties, ball on the ground, Seattle is not doing a good job in that area.
And as you saw, the Broncos are an opportunistic sort. Gerald Wilhite going to throw. Complete to Clint Sampson, just short of the goal line. Eugene Robinson saved a touchdown.
That's Wilhite's first completion in 3 passes, Dick. But that doesn't matter. It's a very crucial one here. The sweep again to the outside. Wilhite kind of shot puts this football. Has to put it over a linebacker's head. But right here, comes to run, and then just kind of lofts it up over the top. That was Dave Brown, number 22, actually a defensive back. Clint Sampson, a man with the ball, and he's close enough that they're going to measure for the first down.
Ball inside the 2-yard line. It'll be first and goal. Gives us a chance to run down the other action around the National Football League. All finals now. The Bears squeaking one out against the Lions at home. New England allowing only a field goal. The Raiders have won 5 in a row. San Francisco still has not finished business at Milwaukee against the Packers. Miami a winner. Philadelphia and Kansas City are victorious. Kansas City now 5-3. Atlanta and the Rams no score in the second, and Dallas a field goal early against the Cardinals. Here it's 3-0. Elway trying to change that. Has a man open. Dave Studdard, the left tackle who has a touchdown catch this year on a tackle eligible play, was wide open, but handcuffed.
Handcuffed because Elway had that ball a little too far to the outside. It's not easy for those linemen to catch that ball with all the tape on those hands. That was a catchable ball.
Second and goal for Denver, leading 3-0 as we welcome those of you who have seen the Raiders beat the Oilers 28-17. That makes it 5 in a row for the Raiders after an 0-3 start. This is second and goal, Denver. Sammy Winder, touchdown. Welcome those of you who have seen the Philadelphia Eagles defeat the San Diego Chargers here at Mile High Stadium in Denver. John Elway has just directed the Broncos to a touchdown drive capped on a 1-yard run by Sammy Winder that gives Denver a 9-0 lead. Rich Carlos to try the point after. 26 seconds left in the first quarter. Ooh, Carlos just did skid that one through. And with that, a timeout. Denver leads Seattle in this battle for first place 10-0. Sammy Winder with a touchdown run, his 5th of the year.
Liberty Mutual Insurance presents Legends of the Game. Though he never won a championship, number 10's presence in a game ensured excitement. For 18 seasons with the New York Giants and the Minnesota Vikings, he personified the image of the scrambler. Who was this legend?
All across America, companies are declaring liberty for all. A revolutionary idea from Liberty Mutual Insurance, where employees can now save on all their auto, home, and life insurance through the convenience of payroll deductions. Liberty for all. It's freedom from bills and paperwork, and it can save you money. America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Fran Tarkenton baffled critics and defenses alike, earning himself a spot in the Hall of Fame. Fran Tarkenton, a legend of the game.
Dan Reeves, vice president and head coach in his 6th year now with the Broncos. The 42-year-old head mentor has defeated a very tough rival, Chuck Knox and the Seattle Seahawks, the last 3 times they've played, and he's off to a 10-0 start today. 26 seconds remain in the first quarter. Bobby Joe Edmonds and Randall Morris are deep for Seattle, and Rich Carlos about to kick it off for the Broncos.
Right now, the Seattle Seahawks are facing the fact that they can't play the kind of football they like to play. They would rather play possession kind of football, conservative football. But against an offensive team that can pop as many points on the board as the Denver Broncos can, you really can't afford to do that.
And they've been stingy, and Denver knows that. Broncos with that 10-0 lead, and now it's Seattle's turn to go to work. Sammy Winder with another touchdown in the bank for him. Carlos, very high spinner. Edmonds carrying that ball loosely, and he doesn't make it to the 20-yard line.
Chance to go back and look at Sammy Winder coming left to right on your screen. You'll see right there Fred Young, number 50, trying to get through the bodies to get a shot at Winder. But Winder saw an opening and simply dived in.
Great blocking in front. It's an unspectacularly outstanding team, the Broncos.
You begin with raw steel. Shape it with fire, muscle, and sweat. Polish it to razor-sharp perfection. We're looking for a few good men with a medal to be Marines.
Ramada wants to know what makes John Madden mad.
Try to get some special treatment in a hotel. You show them your gold card, your silver card, every precious metal card in the book, and they still treat you like a nobody. But don't get mad. Just get yourself a free Ramada business card. One little red card, get your preferred room rate, express check-in and check-out, and more. With treatment like that, why carry anything else? Yeah. Next time, Ramada.
Call 1-800-2-RAMADA.
Our plane was almost 3 hours late. No chance to see any houses that afternoon.
And we were totally exhausted. Mr. and Mrs. Conlon? John Reynolds, Century 21 office. I can't believe you're here. He got us to our hotel.
And left us with some pictures of homes we'd see the next day.
It's perfect. Let's find someone like you.
All you gotta do is pick up the phone. Put number 1 to work for you. Century 21.
For 17 consecutive years, Mile High Stadium sold out 76,000 plus. Second only to the Washington Redskins in the tough ticket department. Orange Sunday, but isn't it always in Denver?
Oh, they love their Broncos here, and they're a vocal and an educated football crowd. They make it tough on anybody who comes to visit.
And Seattle working from a noisy closed end of the stadium from their 18. Craig to Williams. His knee was down, and that'll be no gain. Good defensive play by Ricky Hundley, the inside linebacker of Denver.
In spite of the noise, you saw them go ahead with the play, and that's Knox's philosophy. He said if you stop, you let that crowd know that they can stop you at any time. He said, we'll run it anyway, try and keep the crowd out of the game.
And that's the end of the first quarter.
Before you decide on which German luxury sedan best suits you, just remember, the Audi can run circles around the others. If you want performance and handling in a German luxury sedan, you're ready for an Audi.
The Florida Everglades and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. The Everglades means airboating, as close as you can get to flying without leaving the ground. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer. Cold, crisp Old Milwaukee beer and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place in Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
Hey guys, it doesn't get any better than this.
We could get our orders out.
When you talk with Hewlett-Packard about your networking problems, we listen.
Now, my people in the sales office over here can't communicate with the factory. I've already talked to Ford.
Because while we have all the hardware and software, we can't give you a networking solution if we do all the talking. So before we ask, what if, we find out what's wrong.
We need to be cost effective. I have a suggestion. What if I took a look at your manufacturing floor? I could find out.
A total turnabout for the Denver Broncos from their Monday night performance against the New York Jets, where they couldn't do anything in the first half. 115 yards in the first quarter today against a tough Seattle defense. Meanwhile, Chuck Knox's team only 6 yards passing.
Knox right now knows that his offense really can't afford to be as creative as they'd like to be down in their own field. He's a very conservative coach, and they'll run conservative plays coming out of their own end of the field. It's when they cross that 50-yard line that they really begin to open up.
10-0. Denver leads. First play, second quarter. Craig with 4 wide receivers. And a handoff to Warner. Mike Harden came up from the secondary as Warner was stretched to the sidelines and gained only 2.
All kinds of stunning and shifting going on by the Denver Bronco defense. That front 7 is always moving. Watch these 2 players as they stunt here. Nose tackle coming to the outside, and the end going all the way around. Now just turn them loose. Now you watch the play. It's hard to get a shot at these guys because they're always in action. They're always moving. Well, here they go. There you see them. And that's the kind of thing you have to face when you're trying to block them.
And Warner didn't know where the hole was going to develop. Craig, down he goes. The Denver defense, best in the NFL. That's their first today. And their 30th of the year as Mecklenburg, among the leaders, has 7.5.
Mecklenburg playing on an injured thigh. Actually got 3 sacks last week, 2.5 sacks after he was hurt in that game against the Jets. But you see him here just fighting, and a good pass rusher is above all just persistent. He's not going to quit no matter how many bodies you put in front of him. And that's the kind of guy Mecklenburg is.
Broncos with 5 straight games with 5 sacks. No one's ever done that, at least since they kept the stat on sacks, and a good booming kick to Wilhite. Ooh, as he hit at the 38-yard line.
Patrick Hunter, number 23, one of the ones there.
55-yard punt, a 6-yard return. 1 minute, 15 seconds left in the quarter.
Give me a light.
That's not correct, Steve. Don't just ask for a light beer.
Come on, give me a light.
You asked for it, Steve.
Bud Light!
Yes, Steve. Bud Light, the light beer with the first name and taste.
Don't just ask for a light.
Bud Light, because everything else is just a light, Steve.
When Mazda asked me if I'd like to take some hot laps in one of their RX-7 race cars, they didn't have to ask twice. Whew, I'm telling you, nothing pours out power as smoothly as a rotary engine. It makes for a great race car and a great sports car. This RX-7 also has one of the most advanced suspension systems in the world. It loves to be driven hard. Check it out. But don't blame me if you start hating what you're driving now.
Want to take it out again, Mr. Garner?
Like I said, you don't have to ask me twice.
Here at Hewlett-Packard, we think long and hard about your business computing system and how it can help your people share more information and make better decisions. So before we talk hardware, we answer a lot of hard questions. At Hewlett-Packard, we never stop asking, what if?
They need a network package between sales and shipping. What if we took a new approach to the problem? The way I see it,
The Elway family at work today. John inside the stadium and just outside, wife Janet just before the start of the game today, involved in the players' wives drive, collecting food for the needy in the Denver and Colorado areas.
All the way over to here?
Here you go, guys.
Not yet. Did you get money?
Yes, we love money.
All right. John will do well today.
Well, he has done so far.
And he goes to work. His own 38-yard line. 10-0 Denver. 13 minutes, 40 seconds left in the first half. Look at the time. Somebody's got to be open, and there he is, number 85, Joey Hackett, his first catch of the year.
You can't give a quarterback, any quarterback, that kind of time, but in particular a quarterback with the kind of throwing ability that Elway has. This is a planned roll, a partial roll here. Elway had Watson open, elected not to take him there, and now has time to scan the field as his offensive line did a great job of holding out just a three-man rush. But when you give Elway time, he has such great arm strength that he can zip the ball in between those zones downfield.
Before the snap, Bill Bryan picks up the ball as if it were a large avocado and says, you know, either eat this thing or get it off the field. Give me something I can handle.
Something on the ball, obviously. Now, they won't let him use stickum anymore. Maybe something else.
Had his best day against the Seahawks, and Craig's best day in Seattle was a game against Denver. Wide open. Vance Johnson to the 31-yard line. First down. Terry Taylor on the tackle.
You see Reeves. I believe he's calling a timeout there. Is he calling a timeout? Maybe just making a signal. Reeves calls the plays for the Broncos. He does so with the assistance of his quarterbacks. And there's Tom Catlin, defensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks. One of the very finest defensive minds in all of football. We have two of them on the field today.
Winder fumbles, and Seattle apparently has it. No official word yet, but it appeared to bounce into Jacob Green. Yes.
Winder got his hands on that football at one time, but it just kind of squirted away from him. And the Seahawks showing you again the kind of pressure that they can create, and they are always thinking turnover. I think Winder just looking downfield, and you see that ball. Oh, that was help from Bryant. Jeff Bryant just pulled Winder's arm away from that football. That's why it got loose. Smart play by Bryant.
So when we return, it'll be Seattle with the ball at their own 38.
I always thought the Mazda SE5 was too good a deal to pass up, but catch this. Now Mazda's throwing in a bed liner, mud guards, sliding rear window, floor mats, even an AM/FM stereo at no extra charge, on top of all the stuff SE5 already comes with. Deals like this SE5 Plus 5 don't come down the pike every day, and they sure don't last forever. But I guarantee you, somebody's going to miss out on it and come crying to me after it's over.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Not everyone got a vacation this summer.
Great Gregory!
I need a vacation like nobody's business. I need a vacation vacation.
This fall, you can still get great low fares to more places on the biggest bargain airline, United.
I got a vacation.
Give me another shot at it.
And I'm not just flying, I'm flying the friendly sky.
Nice soft landing.
Your dashboard tells you about almost all the vital signs of your car. Yet most dashboards can't tell you about your transmission. Lee Miles can. Our exclusive $10.95 transmission protection service will replace the pan gasket, clean the screen, adjust bands if needed, adjust linkage, even change the transmission fluid. Just because your dashboard ignores your transmission doesn't mean your transmission should be ignored.
Seattle's sword is the turnover. They win when they take the ball away, and they've been one of the very best at it. When they have the plus in turnover ratio, they win 28 times and lose only 3 under Knox. And yet when it goes the other way, they've won only twice and lost 14 times. What a dramatic statistic. And they have the first turnover of the game today. That denied Denver, and the Broncos lead 10-0. Warner. Ooh. Out of bounds at the Denver 49 with a first down. Boy, what lateral talent that Kurt Warner has. Final just in. The 49ers beat the Packers in Milwaukee 31-17. Late games, the Rams in a battle for first with the Falcons, and Anaheim lead 7-0. And Dallas a 6-3 lead in the battle of field goals against the Cardinals. That one at Texas Stadium. Warner now with 41 yards rushing to lead Seattle. Gets the call again. Good blocking. And Warner finally tripped as he hits the 40-yard line, close to another 10-yard gain. John L. Williams.
We mentioned Williams' blocking ability. You see him right in the front of your screen, number 32. Watch him cut down the linebacker here as he goes up inside. Go get him, John. Well, we see the action right there. Turn it loose and let's watch it to the outside. He's on Harden, the cornerback, who'd come inside. Linebacker's coming out to try and get a piece of him.
Apparently a problem with the clock. 15 seconds ran off the clock, and they'll make that adjustment on this play. Well, talk about wiping out a defender.
Williams is powerful, and yet the other side of him has about the softest hands for a big man. We'll see him catch the ball today. He is really a valuable addition to this Seahawks team.
Trailing 10-0. Seahawks have a down with which to play. But give it instead to Williams, who powers for the first down, a gain of almost 6 inside the 35.
Dick, we've seen the rushing yardage. They were 21st in the league last year, 5th this year. Some of that, certainly much of that credit to John L. Williams, but a lot of it to a new Kurt Warner. I think in some ways he looks better than he did as a rookie when he led the AFC. An outstanding runner, but he's doing some different things in training and preparation this year that he says have made him better. We'll talk about that in a minute.
There's the hands of Williams as he absorbs that pass from Craig and takes it into the 28-yard line, a gain of 6. What is he doing different?
He met with Walter Payton at a banquet and got talking to Payton about how he prepares for the season as we watched that last play. But what he said was, he said, I concentrated very heavily on weightlifting as opposed to run training, in other words, interval running and so forth. And Payton talked to him about the importance of explosion as a running back. And he said, you shouldn't be lifting as many weights. He said, you should go back and work on your running. He said, that's what I did this year, and I feel I'm running better than I ever have in my life.
Payton, well chronicled, running the hill in the off seasons. Largent in motion. He has his catch already to extend his consecutive streak. Warner, that little dive inside and then to the outside of the 25-yard line where he will be just shy of a first down. Tony Lilly, 22 with a tackle.
Steve Largent coming all the way across now in motion. Watch him at the end of this play. He dips in and tries to pick up, in fact, does pick up Tom Jackson, the old pro, and a low cross body block. Largent's not afraid to use his body to block as well as to catch passes.
131 consecutive games now. He has caught a pass. One today is short yardage, and then another for a substantial gain. Warner, it'll be close depending on the spot. Needed a yard, got a yard. Gordon McCarter in the black hat indicates first down.
Thinking, talking to Dave Craig about this Denver defense, he said they're not so hard to read in the secondary, but he said the thing that drives you crazy as a quarterback is all the moving around they do, and it's by the design of this man, Joe Collier. He's been here for, what, 18 years in Denver, and he just keeps adding layer after layer to that Denver defense.
9.5 minutes left in the opening half. Craig going for 6. Incomplete to Byron Franklin.
Rulon Jones, give him some credit right there. He was all over Dave Craig. Simply broke inside of the tackle, Mike Wilson, on that play, and just leveled Craig after that ball was released. Hard to throw the ball accurately when you feel those linemen breathing down on you.
And Merlin, going back to your point earlier about all the injuries to quarterbacks, those are the ones we don't often see. We see the ball leave the hands when we watch the ball, and we forget the quarterbacks get hurt just as often after the pass as when they're sacked.
I think more often they're more vulnerable after they've thrown the football.
Craig in the shotgun is 3 for 6.
Ooh.
Williams, and he can't get up. So the hurried pass, and Williams, in order to catch the ball, had to go to the turf, and there were the orange shirts to down him.
The blitz is on. Freddie Gilbert coming from the outside. They're blitzing a backer from the outside, and you'll see Craig here. The minute he touches that football, he sees them coming from the right. There's no time to go downfield. Tries to throw the quick outlet pass and threw it behind John L. Williams. Otherwise, John L. might have been able to pick up a few yards on that play.
Instead, it's a loss. Third down and about 14. Only 7 yards passing for Dave Craig, and he needs a lot more than that to sustain this drive. Blitz by Smith. Franklin was wide open, but Craig couldn't get it to him. Gilbert, number 90, pressuring Craig.
Again, the heat. Craig didn't have time to wait. No chance for Craig, as he can feel the pressure, and even though he knows he's got somebody down there that's open, there's no time to wait for it. Gilbert again, and you see the price that quarterback pays after the fact. That ball was only overthrown by a couple of feet, but this is a game of inches. Feet won't help you.
A different Gilbert for Seattle. Gail Gilbert, the backup quarterback, to hold. This will be a 46-yard attempt by Norm Johnson, who has made 11 of his last 12 after missing the first 3 of the year. He is wide to the right. Against a tough Denver team, Chuck Knox knows he can't let those opportunities slide by without something.
Watch that. A little bit of a bobble by Gail Gilbert as he put that ball down, and I think that may have had something to do with the way that ball was kicked.
8 minutes, 29 seconds left, second quarter.
Mobil One synthetic motor oil. No matter what you drive, or how you drive, or where you drive, or what conditions you drive under. With Mobil synthetic oil technology, there's no finer engine protection on Earth or anywhere else.
It's a Radio Shack Merry Christmas.
Meet our family's newest member.
Our new high-performance Tandy 1000 EX. PC compatible and now at an incredible $799, including a Christmas bonus color monitor. We saved $300.
And it came with desk-mate software like word processing, budgeting, filing, and more.
Of course, all work and no play.
Makes a dull computer.
Right.
The Tandy 1000 EX computer, just $799, only at Radio Shack.
The guys at Car and Drive are pretty impressed with the Mazda 323. They know what they're talking about. They say, and I quote, it conveys a feeling of structural integrity and heft that belies its small size, unquote. What they're saying is, it's a small road car. They also say, quote, it's one impressive machine, not only a solid driving package, but a solid value as well, unquote. I tell everybody it's the best small car I've ever driven. Of course, nobody ever quotes me.
A tragic accident erased her memory.
I've never seen you before.
Will her family be strangers forever?
We're gonna get it all back.
Stranger in my bed, Monday.
8:29 left in the second quarter. The Broncos lead by 10 and have the ball back on the missed field goal. Norm Johnson wide right from 46, and Jacob Green slamming the ball carrier Sammy Winder down for a loss. You want to know the worst seat in the house on a field goal? Count in from the right. 1, 2, 3. Fourth Seattle helmet. That belongs to Connie Kawai, who is the snapper. Now he snaps the ball and then has to struggle to see what happened. Look down low. There's his head. He kind of little peekaboo. Is it going to be good? Can I just get out of this? Would you like to make a living that way?
That is a tough job to have your head down and know they're going to come after you. On the field, Winder being helped off by Steve Antonopoulos, the trainer. Kawhi, by the way, Dick, with a lot of extra pressure. He has had to start playing full-time with the injury to Blair Bush that took him out of the lineup. And, of course, has always snapped on those short kicks, the field goals and extra points. But that's tougher when you're playing full-time because you got that fatigue factor to deal with.
Second and long. Wilhite in for Winder. Elway with that controlled roll. Look at the time again. Finally has to hurry. And Jacob Green hurries him out of bounds. No flag. Did he make it to the line of scrimmage? If he did not, that would be a sack for Green. Randy Edwards, 68, was the first man to pressure Elway.
Tremendous concern about Elway's scrambling ability, and they're trying to keep him in the pocket. But as you can see, that's not an easy thing to do.
No sack. He gained a yard. So it'll be third down and 11 for the Broncos. A 22-yard field goal by Carlos and a 1-yard run by Sammy Winder, the only scoring in the game. Looking for a man. Oh, almost batted in the air by Paul Moyer. And a little higher, and Moyer has 6. He's the man who replaced Kenny Easley at safety last week against the Giants and did an outstanding job for an All-Pro.
Seattle had 8 defensive backs on the field, and Moyer was actually playing middle linebacker on that play. Catlin will employ, I think, more defensive backs than just about anyone else in the field.
Chris Norman, who has had some added tutoring during the course of the week. Kicking guru Ray Pelfrey has come in to help him, and he has it blocked. You can't help that. And here's a Seattle touchdown. Paul Scansey, the 4th block punt of the year for Seattle, and their 4th touchdown, if it counts. A flag is down. Now let's hold on. Is the celebration premature?
It could.
Eric Lane, 37, smothered the punt off Norman's foot. You saw last year they blocked Norman for a touchdown. Does it count? Patrick Hunter, number 23, detected holding. First down, Denver. What a switch.
Oh, you talk about dodging a bullet. And Patrick Hunter, whose job it is to dog one of the outside runners, is a man who negates this brilliant play by Lane from the inside, streaking in, and took that football right off the foot of Chris Norman. Scansey scoops it up, but it will not count. The Broncos will get the ball back again. Seattle beating themselves, and on a play that's going to cost them 7 points, it goes back the other direction.
Well, Chris Norman said he knew they'd come after him. Had a bad kicking game against the Jets. Had one blocked last year at the Kingdom, and no wonder he's smiling. He dodged a big bullet. That was a mortar shot.
Don't smile too big. He still had it blocked, and they'll be after him again.
Well, the Broncos, instead of leading 10-7, lead 10-0 and have the ball back. And we understand news from New York, and I know many fans who watched with considerable entertainment and excitement last night. Game 6 of the World Series. A bizarre game indeed as the Mets forced a 7th game. It will not be played tonight. We understand it has been called because of rain. Game 7 scheduled on NBC from Shea Stadium tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Good news for the Red Sox, who get an extra day and might come back with even Bruce Hurst instead of Oil Can Boyd. Elway. Deep to Wilhite. What a catch by Wilhite! First down at the 37-yard line. A 34-yard connection.
John Elway, he'll take a play that is no play and make it a big play. They've got him hemmed in here. Jacob Green coming from the outside. That's Randy Edwards up inside. Nash inside. Elway just drifts out. Has time here. Spots a receiver. And Terry Taylor streaking over, goes for the interception. Look at him right here. But Wilhite just reaches up and takes it out of his hands. Fine athletic play by Gerald Wilhite.
Yeah, Wilhite leads the team in catches, coming in with 29, and that a superb play. 34-yard gain. Elway has to throw this one away. And look at Jacob Green. He is furious. He had a sack within his mitts, and Elway just tossed it into the crowd.
Jacob wants him to call intentional grounding, and that call can be made if the official feels that the ball was thrown to avoid the sack. The official not in a position to make that call simply says, hey, you get the down, but you don't get anything more.
Well, Jacob Green says it's frustrating trying to track down a guy like Elway. He knew coming in that containment would be a key. Second and 10. Wilhite burrowing to the 30. A gain of 6. Kenny Easley, number 45, and Jeff Bryant, 77 on the tackle, and Wilhite, gimpy.
Broncos have already lost starting left guard Keith Bishop, who's been on the sideline with a knee problem. Dave Studdard had left the field briefly. He's back in there. Winford Hood, cut loose earlier in training camp, re-signed this last week, now back in the lineup, and so far making pretty good account of himself.
Mark Cooper placed down on the injured list. 3rd and 4, 8 defensive backs for Seattle. Elway again with a scramble. And Sewell, no catch. He was unable to pull it in before falling out of bounds. Doing a great job of trying to keep the feet in, but the ball just wouldn't cooperate. And that'll bring up 4th down. Kenny Easley on the coverage.
Somebody else doing a great job. And there you see, look at how heavy Jacob Green is breathing on that play. You saw that Monday night. The Jets defensive lineman from chasing all day long. Well, I tell you, you chase a mobile quarterback, it never seems to hurt him as much as it hurts you.
Of course, in this high altitude, even tougher for that visiting team.
Well, and very difficult for the Seahawks because, you know, I talked to Alex Gibbs, line coach for the Denver Broncos. He said one of the things that really hurts them is they don't have great depth in their defensive line. Those guys go such an intense pace the whole game, has to hurt them late in the day.
47 yards away, Carlos hits it cleanly. 13-0.
We're MCI, racing hard to be your communications company. We never coast. We're geared to win. MCI competes internationally, offering you the world's most extensive range of voice, data, and messaging services. Our competition is good. We have to be better. And because we compete, you win. MCI, communications for the next 100 years.
Everyone needs a little adventure in their life. So why not enter the Great Stanley Tool Adventure? You could win a Chevy S10 Blazer to get you away from it all. A Mercury-powered Larson boat to put you in the middle of nature. And $1,000 in Stanley tools to help you do things right. Hey, the Blazer, the boat, the motor, the tools, you could win it all in the Great Stanley Adventure.
I think this dock needs a little more work.
I got a lot of Stanley tools.
Lafitte, Louisiana and Old Milwaukee both mean something great to these guys. Lafitte means flat-bottom boat racing and a Cajun feast that'll set your mouth on fire. And Old Milwaukee means a great beer, cold, crisp, Old Milwaukee beer, and smooth, golden Old Milwaukee Light.
There's nothing like the flavor of a special place, an Old Milwaukee beer.
Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light.
It doesn't get any better than this.
This is Bill McAtee in New York. We want to get you updated on the World Series. Game 7 of the series tonight has been rained out. It has been rescheduled for tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. John McNamara says he still plans to go with Dennis Oil Can Boyd, although there's been some speculation that it might well be Bruce Hurst, who has already won 2 games in the series. Back to Dick.
So again, we wait another day for the end of the baseball season, and what a wonderful climax to a great year for the national pastime. And I know we'll all be, well, that means that we won't have to worry. We're all worrying how we're going to get home on the flight and see the World Series too. Well, that's all been taken care of with the rain. Carlos with a 13-0 Denver lead kicks to Edmonds. Bobby Joe at the 10, the 20, 30,
look out,
40, and all the way to the 47-yard line. Bobby Joe Edmonds, and he is a weapon on kick returns. 46 yards on that one.
One of the things you always have to contend with when you play Seattle is the special teams. You've seen it in the blocked kick, and there you saw the return potential of Bobby Joe Edmonds. It was Rich Carlos, by the way, who got over there and got in his road. Not a great tackle, but he was the guy keeping Edmonds from streaking up that sideline for an even bigger game.
Yeah, this is his time of the year, Halloween. They call him Wolfman because he does an absolutely convincing imitation of a monster. And even tougher if he can take it all the way back, I would guess he'd growl. Kurt Warner. Dancing and ducking and dodging down to the Denver 44-yard line. Steve Wilson finally in on the tackle. Around 10 yards.
We talked about the lateral mobility. You'll see a lot of movement here. Good movement by Denver's defense, but there's the hole that Warner sees to the right, and he just skips back into that hole. They were able to cut off Rulon Jones on the backside, keep him out of pursuit, and Warner took advantage of it.
Second and less than a yard. John L. Williams has the first down at the 39 of the Broncos with 4 minutes left in the opening half. Tom Jackson, his 103rd game as a Bronco. Arnie Chavis retired last year at the end of the season with 182. And now Jackson, the all-time Bronco in that regard.
This is the part of the field that the Seattle Seahawks will open up their offense, Dick. They believe in taking the deep shots from here. Let's see if Craig maybe has one on the docket here.
Both wide receivers to the left, and then brings Largent in motion. It's a free play. Warner out of bounds at the 25. Mark Haynes, the former Giant Pro Bowler, bumped him out of bounds, and unless drawn offside, that'll go against Denver, and undoubtedly Seattle would take the game.
Like the Denver defense just a little eager on that play, and as you said, you'd never want to stop on that kind of play.
Number 61 defense, penalty decline, first down.
Andre Townsend, number 61, was the man who jumped off sides. You see it right there in the middle of the line, and you say, how can that guy jump off sides when he's looking at the football? Well, sometimes it's an inflection from the quarterback. Sometimes that center will squeeze that football. There are a lot of things down there you don't see.
Understand Eric Dickerson has thrown a touchdown pass in the Rams' lead over Atlanta. First down after the 14-yard run by Warner. Frank going for 6 to Franklin. Too long. Your premonition was correct. They do want to go for the bomb when they get down inside the 40.
Well, and even though that play was incomplete, it's not a high percentage pass, but what that does is sends a message to the Bronco defense. We're not afraid to stretch you deep. And in doing that, they force those cornerbacks and safeties to respect the deep threat. When that receiver starts downfield, they've got to give him a cushion. That means he has a little more room if he cuts underneath.
Greg will use the shotgun. Franklin left, Largent and Turner to the right. Butler also to the left, 4 wide receivers. Craig trying to shout the change in play. Goes deep again for Franklin. Out of bounds. Martins on the coverage. Franklin has had a step deep both times, but one too long and one too wide from Craig.
They like Byron Franklin. In fact, they started him in the ballgame today over Darrell Turner. I think a reward for his hard work and his success so far in the season. Right now, Craig has got his hands full. Only 4 of 10, looking at 3rd and 10. It's long yardage against an active defense, and I believe here they'll be coming after him. They'll be squeezing him.
Turner and Largent right. Butler and Franklin left. Warner in the backfield with Craig. Turner. Steve Wilson saved a touchdown, number 45.
4 wide receivers on the field. They had a ball covered. That ball well thrown. But Steve Wilson is right in Turner's pocket and gets a hand out there just to back that football away. Otherwise, I think you're right. It would have been a touchdown. Turner reaching for that ball, and Wilson just reached up and slapped that football out of his reach.
Long field goal try by Norm Johnson, who missed earlier in this quarter from 46 yards. This one will be 43. Down the middle, and the Seahawks are on the board with 3 minutes and 1 second left in the first half. 13-3 Denver.
Chuck Knox shaking his head, I'm sure, remembering what could have been if that blocked field goal and touchdown had held up, or blocked punt and touchdown had held up.
Now the game is on the line here. Joe Montana fading back to pass. Wait a minute. That's Billy Stevens who's fading to pass. He's throwing a long one. He's got it. It's a touchdown. Here's Billy Stevens ready for the all-important field goal attempt that could make the difference. And it is good.
If your child dreams of being a part of the NFL, now you can help make that dream come true. As a member of the NFL Super Pro Club, your child will receive all of these official club materials. And it's easy to join. Send name, address, name of your favorite team, and $7.50 to NFL Super Pro Club, P.O. Box 9000, Trenton, New Jersey, 08650. The NFL Super Pro Club, where dreams come true.
When we last visited Connie Kauai, he was struggling through an orange crush to see whether Norm Johnson had successfully kicked a field goal. Well, the Seattle snapper, a little better view this time. He's out of the top row of the upper deck, and he saw it good.
He also liked what he saw better than the last time, too. That one goes in between the uprights.
Denver 13-3. But there's a 10-point switch on the block punt that was nullified because of a penalty. Denver kept the ball, went down and got a field goal.
Chuck Knox tells his teams before every game that he expects one big play, one striking play from those special teams. Often they get more. That may have been the play, and they got it taken out of their pocket.
Now Denver has 3 minutes and a tick before the intermission. High kick by Johnson. Mark Jackson, the wide receiver, and once again, and Seattle perhaps is the best in the entire NFL of denying the team that wants to return a kickoff the 20-yard line. So often they stop them just in that manner around the 15, 16-yard line. Halftime, all the scores for you on NFL 86. Bill McAtee will be in the studio today. Bob Costas, a double duty with the football and the World Series. And he'll be getting ready with Vin and Joe and the gang, Marv Albert, for tomorrow night. Game 7 scheduled, weather permitting.
Let's see if Dan Reeves is going to be conservative here and run the football, or if he's going to air it out and try and get down for some more.
Up the middle on a conservative first down call. Goes Winder. Schultz with a tackle. Let's see if Chuck Knox will spend a timeout. He has all 3 left.
He usually won't in this situation. Knox is one of those coaches who will let it tick down into the 2-minute warning and save his timeouts for the end of the ball game, or the end of the half in this situation. He can't be very happy with what he's seen in this first half, although his team is not down as far looking at the dominance of Denver as it could have been.
Elway under some pressure. Tells that one into a crowd. It was a screen to Winder, well read by the Seahawks. Fred Young, number 50, and Jacob Green, 79, 2 Pro Bowlers in on the play. They like Young. He's a young man from New Mexico State who played his high school ball in Dallas. He was to the AFC Pro Bowl what Bill Bates was to the NFC as the special team star. And now the starter at linebacker. They traded away Shelton Robinson, and Young took that spot. That was a favor for Seattle in that the incomplete pass stops the clock. 2:16 left.
8 defensive backs on the field. 7 defensive backs, 1 defensive linebacker, 3 linemen. Freddie Young, the only linebacker on the field, 7 defensive backs.
And Elway, looking at that defense, decided to spend a timeout of his own rather than make a mistake. Of course, the design here is Elway would like to pick up the first down. Seattle says if we can stop him now, force the punt, we have all our timeouts left and 2 minutes to try to get into that 13-3 lead.
Of course, they would love to get a shot at Norman again.
Home cooking in this series, quite evident in the success ratio. The Broncos at home since '81, not just the series, '81 since Dan Reeves took over, 31-10 and dead even 500 team on the road. Well, before Chuck Knox, this is Knox's 4th year. If you go back to '81, 2 more years. 30-12 at home in the Kingdome are the Seahawks, and a -10. That loss column on the road.
Knox, by the way, is 13-14, almost 500 on the road. He has really improved the road ability of these Seahawks, and he is a good coach in that way. Knows how to keep a team concentrating on the road. It's a business trip when you travel with Chuck Knox.
Didn't you say that you looked through some notes and they've lost 5 in a row on grass?
They have. You know, that's sometimes a misleading statistic, because if you look at the teams they lost to, it's the Raiders, it's Denver, it's Washington, it's Miami. You know, those teams, which are quality teams, which are tough enough to beat at home, and those teams played on the road, and Seattle has lost 5 in a row on natural surfaces. And I think it does take something away from them. I don't think they're as quick or as powerful defensively. I think it hurts their special teams as well.
Well, you wouldn't have seen that sign here in Denver 4 years ago.
Oh, he went through his lumps, took his lumps.
Well, Reeves has him in the shotgun. Often they like that little shovel pass in this situation. Elway with flags down. Looking for an orange jersey. Incomplete. It was tipped in the air by Eugene Robinson, but I believe Seattle had jumped offside.
A couple of Seattle offensive linemen jumping back and forth trying to get back, but they were not able to do it. And I think Jacob Green had jumped on the outside after watching someone jump inside. Now that's Green. That's Green inside. I think Green got back, but I think the defensive left end is the guy that they actually ticket here.
Repeat, bend down.
Again, a penalty. Instead of Seattle getting the ball on a punt, Denver gets another chance at a first down. 2 minutes and 4 seconds left in this first half. Denver leading 13-3. Ball at the Bronco 23. 3rd down and a short 3.
3rd and a short 3, and there are 8 defensive backs on the field. You don't think Catlett thinks they're going to pass, do you?
Elway will accommodate and throws underneath to Wilhite. Dumped at the 25. That's going to be very close to a first down. Randy Edwards,
it's short.
68.
It's short, Dick, and Randy Edwards is what they call the spy man on that play. He's just imitating whatever Elway does. He was in position as Elway threw that little shovel to slide over and knock Wilhite down.
When we return, 4th and less than a yard, an apparent punt situation.
idea doesn't conform to a 9-to-5 schedule. So at Hewlett-Packard, we're always thinking. Because even though we sell business computing systems, what we really do is solve problems. We never stop asking, what if?
Jim, Mike, I've got an idea on that branch office network. What if we connect all the PCs?
Now here's your burger and...
Sometimes brakes can give you a gentle hint that they need a little work.
Take it to Midas.
Over 4 million people have trusted their brakes to Midas. Good price, good guarantee. We won't break you.
Whoops. Take it to Midas.
Whoops, huh?
Take it to someone you trust.
This is a beer that's everything a fine imported beer ought to be. It's brewed with all natural ingredients, the way fine imported beers are brewed. Bottled in tall green glass, the way fine imported beers are bottled. This is Rolling Rock Premium Beer, brewed by the Latrobe Brewing Company and imported in bottles and cans from Latrobe, PA.
An investment firm is only as impressive as it is responsive.
Good to go.
So when interest rates fell, we looked for new ways for our clients to make money and developed unique opportunities like the Prudential Real Estate Investment Trust, a first of its kind in a way to take advantage of changing markets. While others may imitate it, we're busy surpassing it. If anyone can show you bold new thinking in the business of making money,
let's close it.
It's Prudential Beach, rock solid, market-wise.
Fourth and less than a yard. Chris Norman, who had his last attempt blocked but nullified on a Seattle penalty, will kick from around his own 15. Bobby Joe Edmonds back at the Seattle 31. High but short. Edmonds fair catch, 39-yard line. Chris Norman has kicked now 8 times since being activated by the Broncos. He hasn't kicked one 40 yards. That one was 40. He had one 40-yarder against the Jets, so they're still not happy with his delivery.
They'd ask him to make some changes, Dick. And let's go back. This shot on the left now was taken last year. Stop it right there. Look at how that ball is snugged in so short to Norman. Had it almost into his shoulder. This kick, by the way, blocked by Seattle. Very similar to the one we saw blocked here earlier. On the right-hand side, Norman again this year, before the game. Look, right there. Stop right there. Look how he has that ball out in front of him. But it also causes him to stretch out further and get closer to the offensive or the defensive blockers.
Warner breaking a tackle by Tom Jackson, but he can't get out of bounds. And it is a gain of only a couple. Steve Foley, the veteran from Tulane, made the tackle. And Seattle does not spend a timeout.
Line up here quickly. They've got a play called already.
Meantime, 15 seconds going by and almost 20. Warner on the ground again to the 42-yard line. Gain of 4.
Now you'll get the timeout. I think you'll get the timeout. No, they haven't called it yet.
Well, that's a bit surprising. Chuck Knox has 3 timeouts and trailing 13-3. Apparently content with that score. Doesn't want to take any chances. Clock running, 102, 101.
You'd anticipate the shotgun, and you got it here. Let's see if Craig goes deep.
3rd down, 4. Throw it away. Marchant well covered, and Craig running out of time. So with 48 seconds, Denver will get the ball back. And that was an unusual sequence at 13-3 in fairly good field position, almost at the Seattle 40, that they didn't use a timeout.
That'll bring out the second guessers in Seattle, who will say, why didn't you take a shot? You've got some time, you've got some talent, you run the ball twice, and then you throw it in a sure throwing situation on 3rd down. Well, again, you go back to the conservatism of a Chuck Knox, and I'm sure he's already looking ahead to the second half.
Well, he's won with that approach, and that's his argument. Gamache hits a beauty. Wilhite at his 12. Oof. Chopped down at the 19-yard line on a vicious hit by Eric Lane. That's why he is the special teams captain, number 37. A 47-yard punt again, 7-yard return.
Ran right into the back of one of his own players, Wilhite did. And here's Craig to the sideline, and I'm sure he's asking, hey, why aren't we taking a shot at it? He is not happy at all with the calling of those plays. He said, hey, give me a chance anyway. Of course, Craig does not call the plays. They're called by Steve Moore, offensive coordinator, who also has to take a great deal of input from Chuck Knox.
37 seconds, and in contrast, look at Elway. He's going to pass from deep in his own end. And he was lucky to just throw that one away and almost gets a completion to Watson. Boy, they were coming up on the blind side of Elway. I don't think he saw the back door.
After such a big sacking week last week, Seattle had 7 sacks. Green, you mentioned, with 4 in that game. But before that game, they had not done well at all. Only 9 sacks on the season. And they were beginning to get names like they were calling them the bag ladies and the sad sacks. And of course, they came out of it last week. But they have not been able to effectively pressure Elway in this game. And it has really hurt them in the first half.
2nd and 10. Sewell. And out of bounds with the first down at the 33-yard line. Gain of 14 for the Oklahoma Star, who was the #1 pick of the Broncos last year.
Reeves showing you that he won't take all of the risky opportunities as he hands the ball off in what appeared to be a passing situation. You got to know with 27 seconds, 26 now, and time clicking, that Elway will try and get it deep on this one. They need to get down where they at least have a shot at a field goal.
23 seconds remain, and Denver has 2 timeouts. Elway's mobility. He is something. Doesn't get the completion, trying to hit Vance Johnson down the middle, but it must be frustrating for those defensive linemen. He's just right there to grab, and he always seems to make the right move.
Gets away from 2 of them on that last play from Jeff Bryan and Jacob Green, both good athletes who were both free, and in there on him, he's able to squirm and wiggle and get enough time, and that's what makes him such an unusual and effective quarterback. The fact that he can get that time and then take advantage of it.
So quite in contrast, the 2 coaches. Here's Denver gambling with time running out in its own end, where Seattle elected to run out the clock. Sewell trying to get out of bounds.
Didn't make it.
Not. Kerry Justin made the tackle. And time called by whom? Seattle? 3 seconds remaining in the half. 13-3 Denver.
This All-Pro was rejected by 5 NFL teams.
I've gone through what a lot of young actors have gone through. I know what rejection's about.
The Achievers, those who faced adversity and refused to fail, sponsored by the U.S. Army. 8 years ago, Todd Christensen was the running back no one wanted. But as the tight end with more to...
The numbers tell you that Seattle, a different team in the second half.
And this certainly is one of the reasons I think that Knox takes that approach of his where he says we're not going to gamble at the end of this half. We'll save some of our strength and we'll save some of our strategy. But 116 points to 49 in the first half. They really have been an effective second half team. And their opponents, on the other hand, have not been able to penetrate the defense. And that would show you the effectiveness of halftime adjustments by Catlett and his crew.
Third down play. Last play of the half. Well, that one is way up there for grabs. It's like a volleyball game. Denver almost got a free touchdown out of it as Mark Jackson out of that crowd, and there must have been within the ball's range 12, 13 players from both sides, and Jackson came down with it, and Seattle just did avoid a free touchdown.
It's a volleyball game as it comes down, and they've got all the receivers and all the defensive backs standing down there. Your job defensively, just try and get that thing on the ground. But the ball goes up, too many hands there. It bounces loose, caught right there by Jackson, who looks like he's free. He sets himself, can't get away. He's down to the ground, and time is gone.
47 yards on the play at the end of the half. NFL 86 halftime in a moment. First, these words from your local station.
All right, Bill McAtee back now in New York. Let's get you updated on games in progress, the second half of our doubleheader here on NBC. First of all, the game that you're watching, an important matchup in the AFC West. Denver leads Seattle by a score of 13-3, and of course, we're at the half there. The Rams lead Atlanta 14-0. Eric Dickerson has thrown an option touchdown pass to David Hill for one of the 2 Rams touchdowns today. Dallas is all over St. Louis at Texas Stadium. Herschel Walker has a 19-yard touchdown run. Mike Sherrard caught a 36-yard touchdown pass from Danny White. White threw another one just before halftime to Tony Hill, 27-6 there at the half. And now the finals from today. Cleveland and Minnesota. This was a wild ball game. Chuck Nelson missed a 45-yard field goal that could have tied the ball game. Here's the key play. Curtis Dickey, 106 yards on the day, and this touchdown run of 17 yards to tie the score. The Vikings fumbled on the ensuing kickoff. Matt Barr kicked a 22-yard field goal. That turned out to be the winner. 23-20 there. The Vikings fall to 5-3. Pittsburgh upset Cincinnati at Three Rivers Stadium, 30-9. The Bengals fall to 5-3. Walter Abercrombie and Ernest Jackson both had 100-yard days for the Steelers. 2 touchdown passes for Mark Malone. This was one of them. A fine catch in the end of the end zone by Rich Ehrenberg. 30-9. The Steelers win there. The Jets had some problems today at the Meadowlands with the Saints. 28-23 was the final there. Ken O'Brien threw 3 touchdown passes to Al Toon, but the Saints came back strong with 17 fourth-quarter points. This was one of the touchdown passes. 62 yards to Toon, who does some nice running there. And a note, Pat Leahy missed a 46-yard field goal that would have tied Mark Mosley's record for consecutive field goals at 23. Chicago didn't play well today, but they played well enough to beat Detroit 13-7. The only Bear touchdown was scored by the defense. And here it was. Eric Hipple will be hit hard. Wilbur Marshall picks up the fumble, and he'll go 12 yards the other direction for a touchdown. That was the only Bear touchdown. 13-7 the final there. New England over Buffalo, 23-3 as the Patriots go to 5-3. The Patriot defense intercepted 4 passes today. This one, an interception of a Jim Kelly pass at the goal line by Johnny Rembert, who does a nice job running the football. And watch, he's alert. He pitches the ball to Andre Tippett, who takes it to the 27-yard line of Buffalo. It turned out to be a 69-yard interception return. 2 plays later, Robert Weathers went in from 16 yards out. 23-3, New England the final. The Raiders had a tough time against Houston. 28-17 down the Astrodome. The Raiders win their 5th in a row. Mark Wilson had a big day, 4 touchdown passes, 3 to Todd Christensen. The last one was one of 3 yards. This was a 32-yard pass to Christensen. 28-17. The Raiders win down in the Dome. The Packers played well today. This game was closer than the score indicated. 31-17. The 49ers win. Miami over Indianapolis, 17-13. The Colts still winless at 0-8. Dan Marino threw his 17th touchdown pass of the year. Quickly, Philadelphia over San Diego, 23-7. Tampa Bay loses to Kansas City. The Chiefs involved in another wild one, 27-20 there. James Wilder had 110 yards in the losing cause. And a quick note that once again, Game 7 of the World Series has been rained out tonight, rescheduled for tomorrow night, an 8:10 start. Our telecast will start at 8 o'clock. Boston still plans to go with Dennis Oil Can Boyd against Ron Darling. And we will return right after these messages from our local stations. Stay with us.